My perfect day in a nutshell. I wake up in the morning without an alarm clock in a beautiful house. While the others are still asleep, I'm already sitting at my large desk with a hot, fresh coffee and working on my next project in a concentrated, productive and happy manner. From the window of my study, I can see the sun rising over a beautiful mountain backdrop. I then registered my company in Montenegro and built my house to make this dream come true, because I didn't want to wait any longer. How did I do this? I wanted to get out of my home country. I wanted to see something new. I wanted to live in a place where it's more relaxed, where nature is directly on the doorstep, and, very important, where the weather is better. So I flew to Montenegro repeatedly and again and again. I looked at almost every corner there. There are beautiful places by the sea. The capital is also very interesting, but I liked it the best in the mountains. So I chose the number 1 mountain resort and climatic resort in Montenegro for my dream home. The place is called Kolašin. For weeks, months, often on foot, I explored this place and its surroundings in great detail in order to find the perfect property. Not too big, not too small, with good sun, good neighborhood and, of course, with the best view on the mountains. That in itself was an adventure because I didn't understand the local language at the time. But during my long drives and walks, I learned a lot about the country and its people, and finally met the right people and bought the right property. By the way, the seller of the property is my neighbor today, and we regularly drink coffee together. But slowly. First, I founded a company in Montenegro and opened the corresponding bank accounts. Now I could bring the money to buy the house into the country. A limited liability company under Montenegrin law is called DOO. The minimum share capital is €1, and as a foreigner, I can also be the sole shareholder and managing director of my own Montenegro company. From the submission of my registration documents, it took about 7 working days until my Montenegro company was registered and I received the registration certificate and the tax numbers. If you want to know more details about how to register a company in Montenegro, you should watch my other video about it. It's linked in the video description. But let's continue further. Montenegro uses the euro as its currency. Montenegro is an accession candidate to the European Union, but Montenegro is not yet part of the Eurozone. The opening of my euro currency accounts in Montenegro at several banks went relatively quickly. As a German and as a citizen of the European Union, I can enter Montenegro without a visa and stay for up to 90 days. But if I want to be the manager of my own Montenegro company, then I need a work visa and a permanent residence permit. So I applied for it and got it right away. I had to show my university diploma and my police clearance certificate. I had to go through a routine medical test and submit a biometric photo and digital fingerprints. Most foreigners get the residency permit on the basis of an employment contract or home ownership. By the way, speaking of home ownership, back to the dream house. How did I get to my house in Montenegro? First, I checked the property very carefully with my local lawyer. Not much had to be negotiated about the purchase price. The plot was perfect and the price okay. So buyer and seller shook hands, and a week later, both were already sitting at the notary and the property purchase was completed. Now, the next thing I had to do was to build a suitable house on the property. Should I build a wooden house? A stone house? Build it yourself or have it built? I did extensive research and looked at countless offers. I studied and rated everything very carefully. Finally, I decided on a prefab variant of the Ivanica house style. That was a very good decision because this type of house fits in very well with the mountain landscape and the mountain climate. Inside the house it is nice and chilly in the summer and nice and warm and cozy in the winter time. This type of house has a very good reputation among the locals, and my neighbor, a real Montenegrin which had already built a few houses himself in his life, was immediately impressed and enthusiastic about the project. In the end, he even took over the construction management for me, and about 6 weeks after the groundbreaking, the new Ivanica style house was ready to move into on my property in Kolašin. I love living and working in the house when I'm in Montenegro. And at other times, I can rent the house to tourists and business people. But when I get up early in the morning, enjoy the view of the beautiful mountain scenery with a cup of coffee in my hand, and then go about my daily business with new ideas, creativity and happiness, then I realize that I'm already living my perfect day, and that the decision to register a company, to buy a property and to build a house in Montenegro was one of the best decisions of my life. When people ask me what I'm doing in Montenegro, I say, I am the founder of the company Rufil Montenegro Consulting, and I help others to realize their dream in Montenegro. Greetings from Montenegro and do viđenja.